Nation of Fit and 10, it is day 31. And a reminder for you to, send in your feedback, because I've only got 2 since yesterday. Everybody's supposed to do this, all 35 of you. I got 2 new feedbacks in, or weekly check-ins in. And reminder for you to send in your food. Even if you think you're perfect, I'm going to still encourage you to do it. So either way, even if you're doing a great job, send it in. And of course, if you're trying to hide from me, that's even more of a reason to send it in, okay? Because certainly it means that you don't want me to see what you're doing, which means you're probably way off course. And I'm not here to scold you, as somebody wrote a couple weeks ago, probably a couple weeks ago. I'm not here to scold you. I'm just here to point things out. There's no judgment on my part, okay? I will just simply point out the things that I think you should change. All right, more feedback here. Name something specific you can improve upon for the following week. Not all food items were weighed. All right, you don't have to weigh all food items. What are some examples of food items you don't have to weigh? Slice of bread, they're all pretty consistent, so I wouldn't worry about weighing a slice of known bread, okay? Unless you made it yourself and you know the slices are all different, right? Things like eggs, okay, very low calorie vegetables. Don't worry about weighing them out. Don't weigh lettuce. Don't weigh, I don't know what else. Don't weigh kale, this type of thing. Okay, there's hardly any calories in there. All right, I don't mind if you estimate very low calorie foods. Okay, eggs in general are not low calorie, but they are, for the most part, an average egg is an average egg, and it's around 70 calories. Okay, it's not going to change a whole lot. But certainly all your very calorically dense foods, like certainly things like nuts and nut butters, and I'd say virtually all solid foods, okay, that are fairly calorie dense, or somewhat calorie dense, you got to weigh those foods out. Not all food items were weighed pre-cooked. Okay, you don't have to do that either. Okay, it is always going to be more accurate if it's pre-cooked, but you don't have to do that. I'm not sure all. Okay, so hold on. I'll just add to that. What are some foods that you do, or I recommend weighing pre-cooked? Oatmeal would be one of them. Weigh your oatmeal pre-cooked. Okay, if you're cooking it with water. Well, yeah, I guess that's the only thing you're probably going to cook it in. You're going to cook it in some liquid, obviously. Weigh it prior to that. What's something else that I'd recommend weighing pre-cooked? Rice if you can, but you're probably going to make a pot of rice, so in that case, I'd probably just let that go. Oatmeal would be a big one. Anything else that I would weigh pre-cooked? Pasta, weigh that pre-cooked. Not sure all MyFitnessPal listings are accurate. No, they are not 100%. And I will, I hate to say this, but it's true. Some of the verified food items are not accurate. All right, so if you're not sure, take a look at a few. Even just Google it and take a look, or send it over to me and just ask me if this is accurate. All right, this is under something you need help with. Hunger is challenging. Some emotional liability, waking up at night hungry. Okay, so I will deal with you one-on-one, because there are many things we can do to help with satiety and fullness. I did that in a video a while back. I can't remember. That was way back in the beginning. I want to say maybe first week or maybe second week. But in your case, I think we could probably give you some more calories. So I'm probably going to up your calories specifically to this person. Okay, so stay tuned for that next week. Is there anything you would like me to cover in this week's video series? Making every effort to avoid restaurant meals, but really appreciate tip of decently diet compliant sushi options in recent video. Would appreciate other tips of trying to minimize disruption to diet in a social restaurant setting. Yeah, I've I've talked about this obviously before. Basic foods are the way to go. You know, one thing I do want to just mention here, and I wouldn't really recommend it right now in the challenge, but you know, a hamburger is generally, I know it's going to sound like maybe you might be a bit surprised by this. A hamburger is really not that big of a deal. If it's a good quality burger, okay, if it's, you know, just an average size, whatever, brioche bun, and you've got a, you know, a decent meat, it's not a super fatty meat, and that might be hard to tell depending on where you have the burger. And you've got some vegetables on there, and maybe you've got a bit of ketchup. You know, it's not really a big deal. You can pretty much make a good estimate in terms of what's, you know, how much of what is in the burger or how many calories it is. You know, where it gets a bit finicky is if they've got their own special sauce on there, if they're adding on, if you're getting things like bacon, maybe a couple of different cheeses on there. Maybe it's a super fatty patty. You know, this is where it can get a little bit difficult. And this is where maybe you're going to get an accumulation of a couple hundred extra calories or more, maybe 300, possibly 400 calories, depending on the sauce, cheese, bacon, etc. But again, if it's just a bun, it's a patty, you've got, you know, some vegetables on there, some onion, some lettuce, some tomato, you've got maybe some mustard on there, you've got ketchup, which is not a lot of calories. It's not gonna really be a big deal, okay? Even just a slice of cheese on there, not a big deal. But you know, again, I know I've already said it, but I'll just say it again. If you can, if you're going out to restaurants, stick with the real basic food, whole foods, real whole foods. Outside of this challenge, once the challenge is done, I don't really see an issue. So long as you're good with your food throughout the week, you can go out and have a free meal. Okay, don't do it during this challenge because, you know, we're trying to get to a certain point and we don't have a lot of time. So, you know, you're not trying to maintain for the challenge, right? Or you want to sort of, to a certain point, maximize your fat loss. All right, moving along here. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go to, because I don't have that many more feedbacks to go through. I'm going to talk about why, what am I at? 7:35. Let me start it, okay? I'm going to go through some reasons why having enough calories matters, okay? Because you might just think I can just eat less calories and, you know, why not, right? So here are some reasons why calories matter. Here's why having a happy medium worth of calories matters. So number one, more food means greater sustainability, right? Certainly not less food means greater sustainability, more food, right? It's more sustainable for you to get a happy medium of food, not to get a small amount of food. We don't want you to quickly burn out. We want you to be able to maintain something over time. Just had a meeting with somebody the other day, Saturday, and of course this was their number one complaint through previous diets. Okay, we want a happy medium of food. Number two, the other reason we want to have enough food is that it's not about, and I've said this before, but you know, I got to stress this again. It's not about having this whopping amount of deficit in 1 or 2 or 3 days. It's about a little bit of deficit over time, okay? Especially if we're trying to lose weight, okay? If we're trying to maintain, we don't even really need a deficit, right? We just need maintenance calories. But in the case of trying to lose, we need to create some deficit, and we don't want a large deficit, okay? With a little bit of deficit every day, it's going to add up over time, right? We've got to think about all the days adding up over time. It's not about trying to achieve something great in a couple days or a week or two. Okay, maintenance of metabolism. So if you go on low calories, if you go on very low calories, your body is going to, if you're having a certain amount of calories on average per day, I mean, I realize that when you're not paying attention to your food, it's fluctuating probably. But there's probably an average week to week, especially if you're just maintaining your weight. Okay, obviously if you're gaining weight over the weeks, you're probably slowly adding calories. But assuming, let's just say you're maintaining your weight, you don't need to make such a large deficit. And if you do create a large deficit, if your calories are up here and then you create a large deficit, okay, so now your body is used to consuming X amount of calories per day. and all of a sudden it gets a much lower amount of calories per day, and you do this for an extended period of time, okay? Like if you do it for a couple of days, obviously it's not really gonna do anything, but if you do it for an extended period of time, weeks on end, months on end, your body is, through time, it wants to close that energy gap, all right? So part of the way it will close the energy gap is you're gonna lose fat for sure, but it's also going to, it's gonna be more likely that you're gonna lose lean body mass, okay? And this is going to slow your metabolism. But also there's going to be certain mechanisms in the body that are going to slow down. They're going to become more energy efficient, okay? An example would be, for example, thyroid production. Thyroid, T3, T4 production is going to slow down to some degree, okay? Not slow down, but your thyroid is going to produce less of it, okay? Because the body doesn't want to keep burning tons of calories per day. It's not going to, if it senses a major deficit in energy, okay, especially over a long period of time. So we want to get the most out of the most, right? We want to get the most, in this case, fat burning out of the most food, right? We're not lowering food and then, it's like spinning your wheels, right? We lower the food and then so much that we lose some of that metabolic capacity, right? That metabolic inefficiency. We want that metabolic inefficiency. We want to be energy inefficient if we want to stay lean. All right, 12 minutes here. Okay, that's on point 3. I'll go with point 4 tomorrow. Message of the day. This is the week that you're not going to quit, right? Of course, I failed to mention that in the beginning, but this is week number 5. We are into week 5, right? And this is typically where I tend to see maybe a couple people disappear. I don't know where they go, where they leave, but they tend to just tiptoe away. Hopefully that's not you, and hopefully that will never be you, at least for the challenge. So I just want to remind you that no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and most importantly, never give up. No matter how you feel, okay? I'm not saying, neglect your feelings. It's okay to experience whatever you're feeling and, for that to register. But don't let this stop you in pursuit of your goal, all right? So no matter how you feel, okay, unless you're sick, but that's temporary. Get up, dress up, show up, and most importantly, never, ever give up on the goals that are important to you, unless you decide that you don't care, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.